All right, this is just a little preview or tutorial about how to go about doing some research. Perhaps you already know a lot of this, but maybe you're new at doing research with the UGA Libraries internet connection or their site, and I'm just going to try and help you out a little bit. Notice here on your Critical Issues Education Project PowerPoint presentation, there's a research requirement. Okay, please look this over. Basically what you need to have is you need to have 8 sources. Okay, and when I say reliable sources, I mean from academic journals, books, reports, those types of things. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that in this brief tutorial. But you can use 3 from the assigned reading. So let's say some of the articles that we've already read, something in one of the books, certainly you can pull that out and use that as one of your sources. But you do need to find at least 3 other peer-reviewed academic journals, and then 2 sources can be from other types of sources like newspapers or a Newsweek article or a Time article, those types of things. Okay. So what you want to do first is just go to this home page at University of Georgia, go to the Libraries tab, click on it. And let's say your topic is accountability. I know some people have already mentioned this, so let's say it's accountability. You type in accountability, you hit search. Oh my goodness, look at that, 596,000. How on earth are you supposed to go through all of that? Well, there's a couple of ways that you can narrow down your research. First of all, log in for full access. And all you have to do now, you used to have to know a password. Now all you have to do, I didn't even have to enter it because I've recently been in here. I just hit login and it remembered me. But you can just enter your UGA ID and your password and it will get you in. Okay, so accountability. Oh my goodness, that's already I can tell. Accountability, patient safety, and policy reform. Well, they're not even talking about education. So go up here to advanced search, click on it. And then what you'll get is you'll get other fields that you can sort of start narrowing it down. Now, in here you can put in public schools. Okay, and then hit search. Well, that only took me down to 56,000. So let's say I want to know how accountability, public schools, and teachers, let's narrow it even further, are related, or if there's any articles regarding those things. So then let's see what it brings up. Well, I've got it down to 17,000, but that's still way too much. So let's see what some of the things are here that they talk about. Teacher quality, let's see, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, university, urban, elementary. I mean, then you need to start deciding school leadership on how you want to then narrow it even further. Okay, now me personally, I would narrow this. Certainly, you want to go ahead and check this over here. You see where it says scholarly peer-reviewed journals. Definitely check that. That's going to delimit your searches. Put that limiter. Now that takes it down to 6,000. Now, this full text tab is useful as well for your purposes. Just for this overview type of a presentation, you can certainly use it. If you're somebody like me who's working on a dissertation, I would definitely not limit yourself to full text because there's lots of good stuff out there that you just actually have to look for, request, those types of things. But for your purposes, go ahead and use the full text. Now, I also told you it has to be within the last 5 years. So go over here. Last 5 years would be 2009. Okay, hit that, hit enter. It delimits your search even more. Now I'm down to 1,366. Okay, so now I'm really starting to get to something. Now, let's see what we've got here. Something about university public school partnerships, something in Texas. Oh, what is this? A Turkish article. Well, let's go over here and let's go to the source type. First of all, go ahead and click academic journals because reports and dissertations, those types of things, are not really going to be as useful for you for this particular project. So academic journals, click on that. Got it down to 1,100. Go down a little bit You know what? I only want United States, so I'm going to click on the United States because I want to know how accountability in public schools in the United States are affected. Okay, go ahead. Now I've got 266. Wow, I'm really doing a good job. But again, if you want to go to the language and make sure that you're only getting English, click on English. And it's updating, and it's going to tell me now again, I'm down to 264 articles. Okay? Now, moving beyond the rhetoric, charter school reform and accountability. Well, maybe you didn't think about something regarding charter schools and accountability. Okay? That could be a place to start. But let's say you look at all of these and now you want to sort of change what you're doing. The role of professional autonomy, enhancing teacher performance, the unintended pernicious consequences of staying the course. Ooh, that one looks interesting. Assessing accountability in public education. That one sounds useful. So click on that. Okay. And then you find out this is from the Journal of Public Budgeting, Accounting, and Financial Management. So you know what? It might not be the approach that you want to take, but it still might give you some idea of what you're looking for. Okay, so you would read this review or this abstract, okay, to kind of find out what it's about. And let's say that that's not really what you're looking for. So you go back to your results list. And maybe what you find is, you know what, this is just not getting the impact of No Child Left Behind on students, teachers, and schools. Oh, accountability and No Child Left Behind? You mean they're related? Maybe you didn't realize how closely they're related. So maybe you need something like an overview. Okay? So maybe instead of teachers, we're going to change this and put in overview, because maybe you just want to find out more information just in a general way. So I'm going to change that to overview and see what comes up. Oh, look, it got me down to 143. Are my limiters still there? They are. Okay. The inclusion of students with disabilities. Okay, well, that's an interesting perspective that you could take. But again, this is a report. Reports are really, here's a survey report. These are not, so some of these limiters you have to go back and put on again. And I just want academic journals, so I'm going to put that there. I'm going to click that one. And it looks like it wiped out my geographical area when I updated my, advanced search options. So I think I'm going to go down there and change that to United States. I'm really narrowing it down now. Okay, now I only have 13. All right, so here's a 50-state survey of school finance policies. Now, honestly, with accountability, public schools, and overview, I really feel like I should have more than 13. So maybe I don't have the right terms in here. So instead of public schools, and what you'll find sometimes is if you don't put, what do you call it? Oh, and here we go, U.S. International Broadcasting, the case of Iran. Now this one is talking about political accountability, okay? So you can tell it sometimes, here's one on public health, because we didn't put quotation marks around public schools, so it's just looking for those terms individually, all right? So now if I do that, I'll get out any public health articles. And now I only have 8. Okay, accountability, public schools, and overview. Well, it seems to me I should have more than 8 options here. So instead of public schools, what's another way that I can relate accountability and an overview to what I'm looking for? Well, let's just put in education. Okay, so education, let's search and see what we find. Okay, 246. Now, again, I bet some of my limiters got put off. Yep, I want academic journals. And I want the United States. So let's go back down here and put United States. Usually if you do that, it'll take out any English one or non-English ones anyway. But here again, I only have 15. So, but 15 is enough just to give you an idea of where you want to go, okay? Now, here's one, paradoxes of high-stakes testing, all right? And see, this is when you start to realize all of these terms are so interrelated. Some of you have said you want to do a project on high-stakes testing. Some of you have said you want to do it on accountability. Some of you have said you want to do it on No Child Left Behind. Well, they're all very intimately related, so you're almost talking about the same issue. Okay, so you really do want to try and take it down to something a little more narrow, you know, a little more that you can get your hands around. But you could still easily do an overview of any one of those topics. Okay, so here are some authors at Boston College. Okay, now again, this is within the last 5 years. It's 2010. And what you can do is you can just see that this is sort of an overview. Testing is technology, human and cultural factors. I mean, this looks like a really good article. And if you notice here, it's only 11 pages. It's not 50 pages or something like that. So it's still accessible. And if you read this article, I bet you're going to find out different aspects or different ways that you want to go ahead and approach this. Diagnostic tests. So it looks like he gives you kind of a history. And then paradoxes of testing. Okay, so this is sort of the pros and cons section that he's looking at. What it does. It looks like it narrowing what is taught within a discipline, narrowing what is taught across subject areas. Okay, so this looks like a great article if that was what you were really interested in to begin with, anyway. And then the great thing about finding these articles is you can then go to their resources. Okay, what are their citations, their reference list? Well, he's talking about it looks like the history of high-stakes testing and an overview, so a lot of his sources are not going to be as up-to-date as you probably want, but it will still give you some sources that you can go then and find. And perhaps there's here's one from 2009 right here. Diagnosing students' misconceptions in algebra results from an experimental pilot study. Well, that might not be exactly what you're looking for, but again, depending on which article it is and so forth, you can always check their references to see if there are other sort of great articles that might help you out. And this one here, a 50-state survey of school finance policy and program, an overview, again, might give you some, any of these might give you another avenue to take in order to then narrow your topic even more. Okay, so again, go to these, read their little abstract, which is just a summary of what they're talking about. This one is talking about relevant pedagogy, CRP as a means of identifying the achievement gap, the effects of achievement gap between mainstream and minority children. I know some of you already talked about doing something like that. So maybe you're interested in how accountability affects arts programs in school, arts and music programs, or something like that. So this is just sort of a really rough overview of how to use this particular website that UGA offers, which is a fantastic option, honestly. I got my master's degree back when I couldn't do any of this on the computer like this. I actually had to go in a library and look through periodical indices and all of that. So anyway, hopefully you understand a little bit about this. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I'm going to do a separate little tutorial on how to find out more about APA format.